Hi, I'm Maillian Bias, and I have been an entrepreneur for as long as I can remember. It's the only thing I've ever known for myself and my career. And I wrote a book earlier this year in May called The Path Redefined, and the subtitle is really important to me. It's getting to the top on your own terms. It is what my life has been about, and there are ways that you can do the same thing. I think it's so important for all of us to realize that we can live the path redefined, and that that path is unique to you and what makes you who you are. And it's about leveraging your uniqueness. Oftentimes, our uniqueness are our insecurities, but that's what sets us apart. There is a way to take what makes us unique, make it part of who we are in our narrative, embrace it for what it is, and find value. Success is what you make it. It's what you define for yourself. For me, it's happiness. It's my happiness and it's my ability to successfully have work-life integration. What does that mean for me? It means to be able to do what I love, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, profitably, and make my kids happy. When I dream big, and what keeps me pushing forward and enables me to live the path redefined, is to stop and to give myself some moments of quiet, some moments of peace. It could be yoga, it could be walking through the park, but most honestly, it's oftentimes lying in my own bed, sitting in my own room with a cup of herbal tea, and thinking about taking a deep breath from my frenetic life, my wonderfully frenetic life, but taking a moment to stop and digest all that happens. The story of Maillian Bias is that I keep going and I keep building, and luckily I keep succeeding, but that also means that I don't always have really the luxury of stopping myself and taking that time for me to figure out where I'm going and what exactly I want next. Sometimes we can't just continuously be responsive. We have to stop and be reflective so that we're really intentional about our next steps forward. For me, again, it's stopping, having a cup of tea, sitting in my room, lighting some amazing candles that smell good and make me feel good, and thinking about these big, lofty aspirations. It's the huge, lofty goals that motivate me and that inspire me. It's certainly not, hey, can I get ready to go to work tomorrow? Hey, what am I wearing to this fun event next week? That's not enough to inspire me to reach for the stars day in and day out, through the highs and definitely through the lows. So I look at those huge aspirational goals that are maybe for some beyond the realm of true possibility. For me, I think anything is possible, and there's no reason that the world can't be possible to you too. Being prepared for success means that you have invested more in yourself than anyone else could ever expect you to invest in you. It means that you care so much about who you are and what you represent and what you know, that you want to always be your best. For me, it means outworking everyone and learning when and how to seize opportunities that I think are going to give me the most leverage in my life. That can be a leverage in the amount of happiness and satisfaction. It could be in the amount of opportunity, exposure, or expertise. But it's also in learning when and how to make time for these important times in your life that can help accelerate your chances of success. It's not just about being prepared. It's about knowing what to do when those opportunities come, how to react to them, how to make time and space for them, and how to make sure that you're effectively managing all of that to get to your end game. That end game is different for all of us. There's a simple question that I ask myself every time there's a great opportunity that lies ahead for me. That simple question is it worth it even if I fail? I'll repeat it. Is it worth it even if I fail? And it's so simple for us to stop and ask that of ourselves. That's how we know if we're prepared for success. Because sometimes it doesn't really matter if we fail or succeed. It's the experience itself that gives us so much leverage in life, in experience, in our networks, to broaden our networks, to deepen our networks, to create relationships that may have never otherwise been possible. That to me is being prepared for success and knowing how to protect your own brand along the way is so important. That in itself is success, my dear. The characteristics of a successful entrepreneur are someone who is committed, driven, tenacious, has really thick skin, and is incredibly resourceful. People think that you have to have a personality type to be an entrepreneur. And while I agree that you have to certainly, have a quality and characteristic of such unwavering confidence in order to go through all that an entrepreneur will endure in order to be successful, it really comes down to having humility and being resourceful and knowing how to surround yourself with the right people and how to very quickly get the answers that you need to be able to move your company forward. Great entrepreneurs are not just resourceful, they're also receptive, because you have to be able to receive feedback. Good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. I always say that even if I don't like the feedback, it's valuable to me to know what my naysayer is thinking. Because if nothing else, it enables you as the entrepreneur to create a roadmap and to be reactive to what you think may come in the future. That in itself is valuable. You have to learn to sit back as an entrepreneur, sometimes humble yourself, sometimes keep your mouth shut when you really have so much to say, but learn that there are moments when all that you hear and all that you intake is such valuable information, and knowing how to take that and go back to your team and use that to your advantage. So to me, the wonderful entrepreneur is someone who knows how to create teams, knows how to be resourceful with getting the information that they need, and knows also how to lift up their team members, because you're nothing without your village. That for me transcends from personal advice to professional advice. I, as a single mom, am nothing without my friends and my family and my supporting village. And as an entrepreneur, the success that we are able to create for ourselves, it's the result of our teams. It's the result of the people who we have around us and who support us and who help us build our companies and our careers. And the wonderful entrepreneur, the really, really amazing entrepreneur, is the one who praises everyone else around them because they know that they would be nowhere without them. The keys to success for the first 5 years of business is to really be receptive to everyone's feedback. And you'll oftentimes hear a lot of seasoned entrepreneurs say it's important to fail fast and pivot. And while that's important, it's also important to be incredibly nimble, especially when people have come out of business school. They think that it's so important to have a business plan. And yes, that business plan is really important. It's important for you to have an idea of where you want to go and how you're going to get there. I always advise entrepreneurs that if they really want to be successful, they've got to be prepared to possibly create a new way to communicate with their consumer or to communicate their vision every day until they get it right. You've got to be resilient. You've got to be tenacious. And you have to just really be tireless in your ability to continuously push forward and to continuously maybe reinvent until you get it right. And so having that business plan, it's great for you and for yourself, but I never want people to focus too much on a written plan that's where they think they're going to be in 5 years. The reality of entrepreneurship is that we have no idea where we're going to be in 6 months, let alone a year. And gosh, can't even imagine 5 years out. Oftentimes, the companies have morphed into something completely different, either as a result of the founders, as a result of advertisers, as a result of your consumers, or as a result of culture or relevance of that particular product or service. And so it's just so important in the very early stages to be nimble and to be prepared to have to figure out another way to communicate your message and to be ready, willing, and able to enlist the right people around you to give you honest, true feedback. And it's easy to say to someone, hey, does this look great? When your friends want to tell you it looks wonderful. I really want the nitty gritty, feedback, the unabashed, true opinions, because that's what helps an entrepreneur to succeed even faster, is knowing how they can improve. And the faster you figure out how you can improve, the faster you'll be successful in the first 1 to 5 years of the business that it is that you want to build. And it's also about creating a culture. Most entrepreneurs aren't able to compensate their team, or their executive team, anything that they would be close to making if they were in the corporate world. There are just some benefits and some perks that the entrepreneur in the early stages can't possibly compete with. And truth be told, if the company is backed by, a venture firm, no company is going to get backed to give cushy salaries to the startup team. It's just not going to happen. And so you've got to really create a culture of making your employees feeling as though they have a sense of ownership. Making a way and creating an environment that makes your team members, and I prefer to call them team members than employees because they really are your team. And for the first couple of years, they're going to be like your family. And creating an environment that incentivizes them to work really hard and to reach for the stars and to want the best for your company as much as you do. To build in incentives of ownership of their job, their responsibility, ownership of the results, and finding a way to show them job well done when they've really exceeded your expectations.